guys? DoorDash here, and I'm coming to you today because I wanted to talk with you about what I believe or what I can declare is the best mid-range phone that you can buy. Although it's slightly, pricing wise, depending on what price point you buy this phone at, it kind of comes in a little bit at the higher end. But I'm talking about the Samsung S21 FE. And I've been using this device now for the last 4 days. And I feel like I have enough information to talk to you guys about this phone. And I wanted to review it with you, go over it, talk to you about why I think this is a special phone and why this is, after my long search going through the whole range of Samsung phones, why I believe this is the best valued phone for your money if you're not able to spend into the higher end. Now, there is a caveat because this does come in very close in price to the S22, and there is a difference there. And I'm going to show you that when I get into the review section of this, because this is a phone that gives you a larger screen factor. So this is a device that would be more geared to somebody who wants more screen and wants that larger phone feel, but doesn't want to have to pay, $1,200-$1,300 to get that experience. So guys, let's get into it. Let's jump into it. Let's talk about this. And I'm going to break this phone down for you and tell you why this should be a phone that should be on your radar, and why this phone is definitely one that you should consider buying and purchasing if you're looking to jump into the Samsung gig phone market. All right, guys, without further ado, let's jump in and let's talk about it. All right, guys, so we've got the lineup of phones here. So as I promised, I'm going to show you the different lineups of phones and go over the differences here, and talk to you why I think this phone right here, this is the Samsung S21 FE, and why I believe this phone right here is absolutely 110% going to get you a fantastic value for your money. Now, this phone right here on the right, this phone is the cheapest entry point into the Samsung family, in my opinion. That can get you a very reliable experience. The only caveat right now is that it is not going to get the latest upgrade to the Android 13, and it's only going to have one more year of security updates. So you can get this phone for under $150. I got this phone for $130 off of eBay. You can get trade-in value of up to $150 on Samsung. Some carriers will even let you trade it in for $800 towards another Samsung. So it's actually a phone that you can take and spend $130 and get $800 in credit value towards it. That comes with some caveats. You've got to agree to a 3-year lock-in and different things like that. But still, it's not bad that you could spend $150 and then get an $800 credit for that same device. But anyways, this is the S10e, and it is a great device. It's my preferred and will probably stay my third device, because I don't necessarily see a purpose in spending $400 or $500 on the FE necessarily when I have a device like this that I can get at least another year out of and go into the aftermarket. But for somebody looking for, and we're going to discuss exactly what I think the FE and who it's for, and who I'm suggesting it for, and what person should consider the FE, or maybe should go and consider just plopping down $130 or less. It's actually going for a little bit less now, but this was a very good buy and a very good value for your money. So we're going to lay that and push that to the side. Now let's get into the three devices that you see here. These are the devices, and I have them listed in price. This is the FE, this is the S22, and this is the S22 Ultra. There's also an S22 Plus, although my opinion is it's S22 or it's Ultra. The in-between shouldn't exist, because if you're going to go bigger screen, the deals you can get for this phone, especially if you have a Samsung phone right now, makes it absolutely worth it to go full out Ultra if you're looking for the bigger experience. Now, this phone right here will start you out at $799. without any type of carrier deal, without any type of trade-in deal. Although you can get this phone for virtually for free through Samsung right now, by trading in a device and with Black Friday deals. Now this device right here, this is the FE, the S21 FE. And this device you can absolutely get for free with every carrier with a trade-in. And you can also get, if you want to buy it unlocked, maybe you don't have a trade-in, Samsung will give you $100 off and you can get it for $599. And that is still a fantastic price point. If you can afford $599, if you don't have a trade-in and you want to jump in, this device is the device to jump into. Now, I had thought the A53 would be the one, but because of its processor, I cannot recommend that phone. It's not bad, but you're going to have to limit what you're doing with that phone in terms of how many apps you're going to run at a time and things like that. This phone absolutely kicks butt, absolutely kills it, absolutely slays it, and it does everything that the S22 can do. In my opinion, when you're looking at the difference between these two devices, it's pretty obvious in hand what the difference is. And yes, there's a slight processor difference. You can get this for, and we're going to talk about which one you should buy, the 6 gigabyte of RAM or the 8 gigabyte of RAM. And again, it all comes down to size. If you're going with the 8 gigabyte of RAM version, which is the 256 version, then you will be paying the same amount, at least MSRP wise, as this phone. It goes up $100. So you start to get into that range where you go, okay, if you're going to pay $799 for this phone, would you just jump up to this phone? And all that's going to determine on your form factor. Now you can see the form factor of these two phones. There's a quite significant difference, and this is a much bigger feeling phone in hand, but it's not overwhelmingly big. While the S22 fits very nicely in hand, but it gives you a smaller feel. It doesn't have as much room for all your multitasking and multi-apping, but if you're a smaller phone person who enjoys smaller phones like myself, this is going to be right up your alleyway, and this phone is absolutely a wonderful buy. And with all the deals that are out there, AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, all of them have a deal right now where you can pick this phone up for free with a trade-in. And, all you have to do is essentially agree to depending on the carrier, either a 2 or a 3-year payment plan, and then they credit you each month with that, and you pay zero. You just pay the cost of your cell phone service. And most people are going to keep your cell phone service. Most people don't switch too much. So if you're happy with your carrier and you want to trade it in, it's a great way to go. Now, if you're on prepaid mobile or you're looking for that second line, this is where this device comes in, and you're going to be able to get it for $100 cheaper. You could get it for $699 with the $100 off right now on Samsung with no trade. You could get it for $599 for $100 off with no trade. Now, as I mentioned, there are two different models. The 6 gigabyte of RAM and the 8 gigabyte of RAM, and that's based on 128 gigabytes of storage and 256 gigabytes of storage. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I ran my entire workflow on this device. That was putting, I believe it was about 8 apps at one time running, and this device, shockingly enough, never even had a problem with it. It was a slight bit slower. There was maybe a little bit of lag. It wasn't as smooth as it had been, when you're running a couple of apps in the background. But overall, it did well. The only thing I noticed in hand was it really did start. You did start to feel a little heat. It did start to heat up. And when it's heating up like that, if you're feeling the heat coming off your phone, that the system is probably throttling it a little bit. And I would dare say that if I continued to do that for an extended period of time, I was probably going to run into problems, much like I did the evening I took out this phone and pushed it to its absolute max and got crazy with it and ran as many apps as I could with it in the background, and it absolutely did have a problem. Checking out a DoorDash order, it just wouldn't do it. It crashed. The whole phone had to be reset. It was a disaster. So, again, I don't recommend you push these phones too far. And if you're going to be buying the lower end, that's where a phone like this comes in, that you can get two phones going. So you can have phone A and phone B, and when you get an order, you've got this phone is your order phone. Everything's running off of it. Your main apps are running on this phone, and you run your shopping apps on this phone, and you can have a really good setup. You can even run that setup with, if you have an iPhone, where you can have one or the other. But I recommend, the nice part about this is, and the reason why you should be considering a Samsung phone if you're in gig work or food delivery specifically, is because of Middleton Technologies apps that they have, Maxymo, Driver Utility Helper, and those two apps make a tremendous difference in your life and what you do. Now, getting into the S21 FE, what do I like about it? Number one, I love the form factor. In hand, this is a pleasure to hold. I absolutely love this. It has that kind of cold metal, little matte finish on the back, on the sides, but this I love. It's got a more angled approach. It fits perfectly in hand, and it's got hand on the buttons. It's got, all three of these have an under the screen fingerprint sensor, and it is just an absolute joy to hold without a case. And the nice part about it is the plastic back. Now, I would recommend you slap a case on this, because I recommend you get yourself a MagSafe case, which you can get off of Amazon. If I was going to keep this device, I would absolutely order one. But you can get a MagSafe case, and that way you can magnetically connect it to any of your phone holders in your car. Makes it easy on, easy off. The other thing I like about this phone versus the A53 is it does have wireless charging. So when you put that MagSafe case on, you can charge it wirelessly right in your car by using a wireless MagSafe base, and it'll charge it right there and keep a charge going. Now, I prefer to do the wired charge with these phones, because I found that the 15 watts of MagSafe, in some cases, depending on the charger you're using, the car is only 7.5 watts. It's not nearly enough to keep these phones from running low, because of everything you're doing in the background on these phones. It is absolutely putting a drag on the battery. So I recommend you plug it in. You keep an exterior power bank that you can plug in and take advantage of the super fast charging, because this actually does have the super fast charging on the phone, and you can charge it pretty quickly. I found it takes about an hour, as opposed to both of these phones take about 45 minutes to get charged up. So, that is a slight difference there. It's not a difference that I really think makes too much of a difference. But I'm going to tell you right now that this phone is a fantastic buy. It's a fantastic value for your money. And if you're an iPhone user looking to jump into the Samsung ecosystem, you can't go wrong with this device. You're going to see the green bars. You're going to see green bars on all three of these phones. And if this phone was turned on, which it's not, it needs to charge, you would see the green bars on that phone as well. Now, what are these green bars that you're seeing? This is the one-handed mode. I have the bars up because for me, when I'm out and about, and because these are work phones only, I like to be able to know where my swiping area is. I'm going to show you a few swipes here. I'll bring it up closer. And all of these, now understand that every single one of these phones is set up exactly the same. I set all my Samsung phones up the same. I'm going to show you what you can do with this. And this is kind of more of a sales pitch on why should you use a Samsung phone. So let me show you a couple things that you can do here. First of all, you have the Edge. And the Edge is nice because these Edge panels, you can very quickly open an app and boom, there you go. You got it. Now, you can also very quickly, when you use the Edge panel, if you notice, I just held it and I got right in the search right away. Swipe up, you see these three bars. That's home. This is the app switcher menu, and then this is backwards. Now, if I go down on this phone, because it's not set up with Android 13 yet, the update has not come, I have it set up down that gets you the navigational buttons. And then if I go up, I'm not in an app. So let me go into an app here, and I'll show you what this does. And that puts you into split screen view. And this is one of the things that I love about Android, and any Android phone can do what you're seeing right here. This is a basic functionality. But what makes it nice is that extra swipe, which is why these green bars are there, puts you right away into it. Now, if I had Android 13, which these two phones are on Android 13, I can also do a two-finger swipe up, which you have set up. But this is on every single Android, whether it's Samsung or not, you can set up the ability to do split screen. Now, how you get into it's a little different, but I showed you that. Now, on this side, let's go home. Now, if I do a quick swipe down, Uber's up. Quick swipe up, Grubhub's up. That's what makes this super duper nice. Minimize, these are now bubbled. Quick swipe down, it's back open again, and you can set up your top 3 or 4 or 5 apps that you work primarily and have them activate by quick swipe. Quick swipe down, we've got Instacart. Quick swipe up, we have DoorDash. Long swipe up, driver utility helper. Long swipe down, Maxymo. And long swipe over, which is extremely handy, it activates my timestamp camera, so I can immediately timestamp it down or turn it on if I need to, or activate it if I'm walking up to a customer. I can easily swipe over, hold it, and out comes the camera. Quick swipe, screenshot, quick swipe, screenshot. So this is absolutely, again, this is why these green bars are here. And these are the little things that make, besides Maxymo and driver utility helper, these are the little things that make Samsung such an amazing device. The other thing you can do is one last thing. So let me show you on this other phone here what I've done. This one I did not set up the trigger button. But on this device, if I double click, it puts me automatically in the Maxymo app, because this phone is my phone that I use, one of my phones that I use for my triple phone multi-action or multi-apping. But if I triple click that device, there it is. This one goes to driver utility helper app. Now you can change that button, that functionality, to any app you want. So if you know today I'm going to be using DoorDash primarily, or maybe I'm going Instacart, maybe you're a one app, or you can set that up to go directly in there. I like to have it go into these apps simply because then I can get into it, see my stats, and I can activate my apps right within that. Or if I already have them air bubbled up, I can activate them within the driver helper apps. And you can see we've already got a new shift available there. That's great. Now I want to show you one other thing. Long hold up. Now, with Android 13, I can if you swipe long press down, it's going to go ahead and put you in pop-up mode automatically. So any app you're in, so you go into Grubhub and you want to set it up, and you just go, okay, long press down, boom, there you are, you're right in. And then you can air bubble it up. And then, of course, you can also get there fast, boom, just like that. So that's incredibly, incredibly handy. And these are the reasons why I say everybody should have a Samsung device in your pocket if you're a gig worker and you want to work more efficiently and you want to save yourself time. When you learn your workflow, when you learn how to use this device and you get your work down, multi-apping becomes a breeze. Lots of things become a breeze. And if you are an iPhone enthusiast and you want to keep an iPhone, and I do recommend you have an iPhone in your repertoire, the iPhone can easily be there for a single app. It could be there for your shopping apps. You can have it set up a multitude of ways and still utilize and get the benefits of having the Samsung as your main gig app operating device. And the S21 FE is an absolute no-brainer in getting you there and being your main device. It's absolutely capable of it, and I highly, highly recommend it. So I recommend it's the holiday season now. You're going to see deals coming out. That's why I figured this is a great time for me to conclude this series. I sent back to A53, and I am going to report that because I already own the S22 Ultra, the S22, and these are both devices that I'm going to be sticking with and upgrading as they go. And I'll be getting new models of each one of these as they come out, provided that the deals are good. And then I've got my S10e, which I absolutely like, and it's actually still got this fingerprint sensor in there. I'm going to go ahead and send this phone back to Samsung because I don't feel like it's worth buying. The price I got this for was for just simply the $100 off. I got it for $599 from, or maybe it's five. I think it was actually $150 off. I got it for $550 from Samsung, and I would be expected to pay that out and pay Samsung the full $550, which I already have, but I'll get a refund back for the money which I've already paid. I don't really feel like, to me, owning these two devices, which covers me very, very well, along with this device, which will get security updates for the next year and probably stay relevant for another, maybe another 2 years or 3 years. To me, what I do, my ideal setup right now is the Ultra runs everything. It runs my DoorDash app, my driver utility helper app, and all my shopping apps. S22 runs Grubhub, Uber, with Maxymo running in the background, and it runs flawlessly. And then there are days that I will go out and utilize or throw an iPhone in the mix, or just use my iPhones, just because I want to use them and stay up with them. And sometimes the connectivity on iPhones, I do believe sometimes can be better. So I go ahead and do that. But for me, although it looks nice, it's beautiful color, it matches everything, and that's really attractive to me to be in that position to have. This looks much nicer, it gives you a bigger screen, and everything's great. To me, it's just not worth the investment of $550 to do this, so I'm sending it back. But if you're in the market and you don't want to spend $700-800 if that's where you're at, you don't have a trade-in, maybe you're on a you're on a prepaid carrier, and this is a device that has a deal or it's free or whatever. If you're on Xfinity, this is a free device. This is not a free device. I think they take $400 off this device, but this one's completely free. They're running it free, or they're running it close to free. I think it might be $5 a month. Dude, no hesitation. Take this one, and have no hesitation taking the 128 gigabyte, 6 gigabyte model. Turn on the extra RAM Plus, and you should be no problem. Now, if you want to go extra, if you can afford the extra few bucks, and you want to go 256 gigabytes, you get the extra 2 gigabytes of RAM, and more RAM the better when you're running your workflow 4 gig apps. So that's where we stand, guys. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review today. Like I said, I got into some, it's not your typical phone review. I'm not going to get into like techie specs and stuff like that. I wanted to talk about this phone in relationship to what you could expect as a gig business operator, and what you could expect in relationship to the other options that are out there. Now, I went out, I invested in these phones for a couple of reasons, and I've spent a lot of money on different phones throughout the last 2 years, trying to find the best lineup. And this is the best lineup that money can buy right here, in my opinion. These are the best phones in their respective areas. This is the best smaller form factor phone that can get the job done, the S22. The S22 Ultra, in my opinion, is the best gig device that you can buy on the market, period, end of story. And then for the best value for your money, the best device that you can buy that's not $1,000, not $1,200, $1,300. Still get a big screen, still get a great battery performance. S21 FE, guys. And then, of course, if you're in a sub 150 category and you just want a device that you can pop out. In fact, this device right here has 6 gigabytes of RAM, and it still can run my workflow. I have run my workflow on this device, and it did better than the A53. So I can't speak higher about this device right here. The only problem with this device is like I said, it's not getting the latest upgrades, and it's going to start to not be as reliable because of that fact. But this is a great entry point if you want to get a feel for a Samsung phone and you want to jump into it. You want to run your driver utility helper and your Maxymo, and you want to just run your 3 food delivery apps, and then maybe you have another phone, an iPhone, that you can run your shopping apps on. This is the device that can get you right in the door. And like I said, you can parlay this for a $130 investment. Turn around on AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, wherever you're at, and you can trade this device and get $800 for it. Deal of the year right here. $130, flipping it into $800. I'm just, like I said, there's no point for me to do that and open another line and commit for 3 years. But best believe I'm going to keep watching, because the deals will still stay there, and I guarantee you there will be a deal to be had on this phone and device, or I'll just keep it. I like the phone. I think it's great. I'm going to probably keep this phone, to be honest with you, until it runs out, and just have it as a backup phone, and just have it as a third wheel that's running around in the background until it's no longer a phone I can use. So anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you did, if you liked it, if you want to see more of this stuff, hit that like button. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me the next phone you'd like me to look at for you. If there's a phone you have you want me to look at, I'll go out and I'll buy it. I'll look at it. I'll review it. I'll put it through the paces. I'll see how it works, and come back and report it to you guys. And as always, if there's anything you want to see me do, if there's any questions you have, I'll make a whole video on it. If it's big enough of a question, I'll run it, depending on if you have S22 or S22 Plus. I've got a device right here I can test everything on. S22 Ultra, I'll test it. And for a few more days, I'm going to have my hands on an S21 FE. And then, of course, I've got a sub $200 phone right here that I can run any test on for the S10e series phones. I'll run it. I also have iPhones over there. So let me know, guys, whatever questions you have. That's one of my missions on this channel, is to bring you the best tech that you can use to make the most money in the gig business, in the gig economy. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, stay safe, stay profitable, and I will talk to you soon.